Welcome to the OMG Talk podcast with Paul Finkelstein. Great advice and talk with small business owners, workaholics, and whiz-bang entrepreneurs. Here's your host, Paul Finkelstein.
I'm curious, is that hat something big enough for your head? Just wanted to test my mic.
Oh, it's a good book. I read it when I was 17 and it was good.
You still remember. It's wonderful. You must be still young. See?
So,
Paul, how do I change the background for, is that a possibility?
Stand. Around.
Oh, Mary Smith, and I live in Hypoluxo. Yeah, sorry.
Hi, Tina Schreier, currently residing in Charlotte, North Carolina area, originally from Southern California, and really happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Sure. So my name is Maurice Loriano, born and raised and out of New York City. Currently hailing in from Guatemala in on Flores Island. I am a digital nomad moving around. Yes. Thank you so much, Paul, for that warm introduction. I appreciate you and everything you do, as always. So, ladies and gentlemen, you will have a few minutes to answer a important business question about yourself. And we're going to go through those timings. And so, at the green is one. That's your job. Oh my gosh, I'm taking away. Well, before I start, why don't you give the times then, and then I'll give the questions. But I'll just let you know we're going to give questions that are relevant to you, and I look forward to hearing more about you as you discuss your business, because this is a great time. And table topics is the time when we get to learn more about one another, and you'll get to speak impromptu, off the cuff. By all means, if you don't have an answer or you don't like my question, you're welcome to introduce your own answer to something thereabouts. Back to you. I love it when you ease them off the digital stage. It's such a great stage as we have it here with all these visuals in the background. I'm going to start off with a quote because it's just appropriate. Lily Tomlin said, "I always wanted to be somebody, but now I realize I should have been more specific." So, first question here, I'm going to ask, what's one tool or system you can't live without, and how did it earn that spot? Tina, what is one tool or system that you've used that you can't live without, and how did it earn that spot? Tina, take it away.
Can you hear me? Okay. Well, it just happened recently. I have been taking AI courses, and I've been fooling around with Perplexity and now Chat GPT, the Pro version, and practicing, playing with it and writing content. And I have to say, I am a full convert now, and I'm really excited to learn more and more about it now that I know all it's capable of helping me to do in the marketing of my business and can help others. I'm just really excited to be able to also soon share with others, how they can learn it so they can help their businesses. Talk about saving time. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this toggle button. I know this ticket, the toggle is truly a delay. Thank you, Tina, for that. I will concur. ChatGPT changed my life. It's my favorite tool, second to email. I don't know what I would do in my business without email. Having to pick up the phone scares me. So, my next question, and this question is, describe a time that you had to pivot quickly in your business. What pushed you to change direction? Mary, describe a time that you had to pivot quickly, and what pushed you to change direction? Mary, please take it away.
Well, I was just going to be a guest, but since you asked, I first have to say I'm not really in a business, but I am writing a book. And I started it many, many years ago. And I was able to do quite a bit of writing and send little bits of what I was writing to the lady who was supposed to send it to the publisher. And then I came upon a time when I said to her, "Did you get those things?" She said, "I never got them."
Mm-mm.
And I said, "Well, what email did you give me?" Well, it was really confusion. So I stopped doing it for a while because I got discouraged. And then in several times of moving from one place to another, I found that some of my most important things that I was going to rewrite got tossed in the garbage. So I had to pivot quite a bit and start all over again. So at this stage of the game, after more than 10 years, I'm finally winding down, but I was able to keep going at any rate and am trying to finish up now. So thank you for asking.
Thank you, Mary. I'm going to say we are our choices, and my favorite, if it either it's my own quote, is what am I doing today to make tomorrow even better? And truly, you are an inspiration to not giving up. And I have been, I would say, trying to write my own book for a while. Not maybe as definitely not as long as you have, just because I just have it. It's a new thought, but I know that there's something that inspiring to be read when it does come out. My next question. Next question is a little bit of a pivot from my prior ones, but I'll ask, what's one task in your business you wish you could delegate, but you haven't yet? Paul, what's one task in your business you wish you could delegate, but haven't? Paul, you have the microphone. Mm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's interesting that you say that because virtual assistants are, I think, such time savings that they're worth every opportunity. Because, as John Maxwell said, the choices you make today determine the success you experience tomorrow. From John Maxwell. Yeah. I'm going to answer one question, and my question I'm going to answer is, what's a mistake I made early on as a solopreneur that turned out to be a valuable lesson? And early on, my biggest mistake is distinguishing who my ideal client paying customer is. It was a big challenge. It still is a big challenge. And I continue to attend personal development, speaking with others, including score coaches and folks like those of us on this call to help me identify how to niche my target client. Ladies and gentlemen, I do government procurement in specifically New York City for specifically education, technology, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. And so it's a very quite niche, but that niche doesn't exactly live any one specific place. And so it's been hard to tap into the audience. It's been even harder to, when I do tap into them, to help them understand and appreciate why they should hire me. And I'll tell you, quick story, if you've ever done anything in government procurement, it's easy to get turned down. It's easy to get turned away. It's very time consuming. And so it's only after you've done it or attempted to try that people identify, oh, yeah, they really do need an expert like Maurice who can provide those rare insider tips on how to navigate the procurement landscape. And so that's my contribution to the world. Thank you so much for listening. And if you know anyone who would like to do anything in government procurement, reach out to me. While my personal expertise is in New York, other governments, other locations are all the same. You write a solicitation, you win the bid, you negotiate the contract, and you execute. And that's what I do. Thank you. Back to you, Paul. Hello again, and thank you so much for calling on me first. I am actually going to talk about something completely different, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to talk about my newest venture called Got Goals Elite. If you're overwhelmed from working on 8 different tasks and not burning your goals, at Got Goals Elite, we provide English speaking, professionally managed virtual assistants from the Philippines. So you can delegate the business and reclaim your CEO level focus. Got Goals Elite is a new business I've just launched over the weekend. And essentially, we are going to provide solopreneurs with an experience that cannot be matched in helping them really take their goal to the next level. And we're doing it in 3 different ways with executive administration, CRM, and sales support. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, social media and content scheduling, and finally, customer service inbox management. This is a new venture that I hope will take off, and how I'm pricing it is in three different places: a starter package for those people who are new to this, a growth package for those who are really into it, and a pro package. And this distinction here is that those individuals who really have worked with a solopreneur or worked with a virtual assistant before would do some more like a pro type service. But those who are new to it might start off with a starters package. It's 40 hours that you can use however which way you want in a month, and everything from helping you with social media and connecting your post to linking it to images and things of that nature, to doing more work like inbox management and cleaning up your inbox and making sure you don't drop a task and more. And so that is a new venture that we just launched with a partner in the Philippines. And I'm happy to have this moment to do my first elevator pitch about it, in the sense that I've never introduced this to anyone else before. So you guys get to be the premier new audience on what it's all about. Wow, Paul, this really is timing half the snafu. I feel like it's forever. So uh, this idea came because in my government coaching, people ask, well, I don't have time for coaching. And they want to know, is there someone that can do it for them? And that's when I partnered with my individuals co-partner in the Philippines to actually do some of the more tedious tasks, like searching for proposals that you can actually write for bid on, or identifying where your customer market is and taking over some of that monotony of writing posts for LinkedIn, for Instagram, for Facebook, you name it. We have someone who can help manage it with you, for you. And how I've decided to do this work is I will be what Tina and I know as the AI intelligence interface. And so I'm the person that would meet with the solopreneurs to discuss with them their needs, and then there'll be someone else in internationally that will actually do the legwork and to do all of the different tasks that are required. And we will use something like Monday.com or Trello, and there are so many other project management online tools that we can potentially use. All that said, I again introduce you to Got Goes Elite, a premier virtual assistant that matches you with time saving tools that can help you improve your business and increase your bottom line revenue. Thank you for the opportunity. Back to you, Paul. Peter joins.
Okay. Thank you, Paul, for inviting me to speak today at this Toastmasters demo meeting. And thank you, Table Topics Master and esteemed guests. So I just wanted to tell a little bit about myself. Some people know a little bit about me, but I grew up in a sales family, and that sales family definitely profoundly influenced my career path. So my grandfather worked in the car business for about 50 years, but when I was very young, he would take me to work with him, and he worked for a gentleman by the name of Cal Worthington Ford in Long Beach, California, which was fairly close to Hollywood. And he was just really into, um, he was sort of like a shock jock of commercials back in the day and early TV advertising. And he had friends that were animal trainers, and he would bring lions and tigers and bears, no kidding, down onto the car lot. And then people, employees, families would come, and the kids, and we all felt safe because they were trained. And it was very exciting. And it really, watching this world, the bustling world of sales and TV advertising and being exposed and being trained, because I could just hang out with all these top sales guys and even be in the closing room. They thought I was like, a little mascot or something. So my exposure to all this really ignited my interest in sales and marketing, which has only grown really over the years. My journey also, I had a grandmother who had an Avon business. So after I won a top cookie producer on a team for Girl Scouts, she decided to recruit me into her business, and she taught me how to be an Avon lady. So I was fairly, young at this time, 12. But anyway, right after high school, a lot of my friends were getting ready to go away for college. And even though I had a full scholarship to go to college, I took a sales job selling Growler encyclopedias door to door to please my father. And then as soon as fall happened, I put in my resume to a local distributor that turned out, I had no idea, to be the largest electronics distributor in the world, Hamilton Abnett. They're still in business today. And they hired me, and I became a Motorola girl. And this was pre-computer, and so we had everything was old-fashioned, index cards and pulleys off, things off the walls. I mean, it was crazy. But I basically did inventory checks for the inside sales guys on this big floor, and I would watch them, and I kept saying, "Someday I'm going to do inside sales. Someday I'm going to be there." But I was stolen by the company next door and given a $400 a week raise to do triple work, microelectronics. And so my accounts went to be all kinds of big accounts. I won't mention all the names, but all of the type of big business that was building big planes and big rockets and stuff that needed these microelectronics. So it was a really good experience. I did end up going to college for a while when I was laid off, but my career path was later led to um, becoming a pioneer in the field of cosmeceuticals. My mother and my godmother were in the cosmetology business, so I got my esthetician's license, became a makeup artist, and really did a lot in that arena, many, many different vertical type jobs. Um, anyway, from there, I was recruited by the right arm to the owner of Air California. I became an Air Cal girl, and I was in middle management and reservation sales at their corporate office in Newport Beach, California. And so I helped a lot of I had a lot of different tasks, but it was really great experience. They wanted to recruit me to become an FCC girl, and I didn't want to do that. They also wanted to have me open up as a manager the Anchorage, Alaska ticket office when they opened up that location, and I didn't want to move to Alaska. Anyway, he sold it. We built the company. He sold it, the owner, to American, and then I became a travel agent. So I went to travel school. I became a certified travel agent, and I didn't like the retail, so I did a lot of vertical in that career path, and ended up even starting my own little wholesale agency. And this was before, the, uh, Travelocity and all that. We put together our own tour packages, and we did quick jaunts from LAX to Honolulu, and we had friends that gave us hotel packages and car packages, and so it was really interesting. I ended up giving that business to my partner, and at that point, I decided to go to work for AT&T, I was recruited by the head of AT&T to work for the actual union, and they had had a 19,000 person layoff, and I was recruited to go in and be an auditor and a triple job. I was supporting our outside sales gals in the largest business sector department, and also being trained for sales with AT&T. So it was really interesting. But at that point, things didn't work out the way I wanted to. So I did a little stint with AirTouch Cellular, which was the precursor to Verizon. We helped build that company too, and then they sold it. And I went on to return back to the electronics industry, which was now called the computer industry. So I went to work for a computer PC monitor manufacturer, and I was in the reseller channel, and I had a chance to really utilize all my skills to help this owner grow his business. So we were Princeton PC monitors, Mag Innovision monitors, and I had my moment of fame in that particular position. And we did Comdex, and so I was made MVP. I didn't even know what an MVP was. I didn't even know how to put a computer together, but I knew how to send spec sheets, and I knew how to determine which were my ABC accounts, from Best Buy and et cetera, down to my VARs who put together their own systems. And so, anyway, yeah, that's okay. No, that's fine. I'm sorry, whatever.
My name is Hélène Bertrand, which is why it's so badly spelled on your computer. And I have been a doctor. I was a doctor for 55 years. And in the last 12 of those 55 years, all I did was remove pain. Like doctors would send me their hopeless pain cases, the ones who'd had pain for years and years. And 80% of them left my practice with no pain. And the way I did it was that I thought outside the box. When somebody comes in with pain, doctors have a recipe. They know what to do and they follow their recipe. And unfortunately, people are different and people have different problems that are causing pain. And what I did was I would say, what's behind this? What's the anatomy? What's the physiology? What's the biochemistry? What's behind this pain? And I would treat the cause. And because I did that, 80% of them left with no pain. Now, I'm a very old lady right now, and I've decided that I want not just the patients that I was treating, but everybody to know how they can relieve their own pain. Because for me, that's very important. I think I get a huge kick out of seeing somebody, for instance, do the 2-minute exercise that I've invented for low back pain. And they get up and, oh, their pain is gone. They can't even believe it. And uh, and if I give them some of the cream that I've invented that shuts down the body's main pain receptor, they put it on, and all of a sudden they can move their fingers again because their arthritis isn't hurting anymore. So for me, that's the sort of thing that makes me feel fantastic. That's why I started doing this. And because of that, I decided to teach everybody. So, what I'm doing on September 24th is I'm going to be giving a talk on how people can relieve their own low back pain. No, not low back pain, their own pain. And it's going to be for free. So, and that was September 24th. And on October the 8th, I'm going to start a course, a 7-week course where people will be able to relieve pain in every different part of their body. And I've invented, as I was telling you, this new way to treat low back pain. I've invented this pain cream that shuts down the body's main pain, itch, and inflammation receptor. And so the nerves can't send their pain signals to the brain. And I want everybody to know about this. So this is where I'm going to be giving the talk. So if you're interested, you just go to nopain.com.ca. Okay, so you just go to no-pain.ca, and then you look for the webinar or the course. Or if you want to tell all your friends about it, you can go to affiliates, and then you actually get to attend the course for free, and you get paid for every person that you send to the course. This is the pain cream I've invented. It's called QR cream, QR for quick relief or cure. And this is the book I wrote. Now, this book tells people how to relieve their own low back pain. And why did I write the book? Well, I was a member of the Canadian Pain Society. And I was at a talk from the Canadian at the Canadian Pain Society. They were presenting this woman with 20 years of low back pain, and they tried everything and nothing was working. Sounds like me because I had 37 years of it. But anyway, this woman had 20 years of low back pain, and they tried everything. At the end of the Zoom web, who's talking? Okay. At the end of the webinar, I put up my hand and I said, did you check the level of her pelvic bones? Silence. I said, well, if you know in what direction those bones are displaced, then a 2-minute exercise has a 90% chance of providing immediate pain relief. And they immediately shut me out of the Zoom. And the next day, I got a letter that I was never to mention this again. And I thought, this is weird. I mean, these are all doctors, chiropractors, physiotherapists, acupuncturists, massage therapists. Why would they say that I can't mention this new way to treat low back pain? Anyway, I kept quiet for several months, but then they had a talk on narcotics, and I hate narcotics. And so I decided that I couldn't say anything, but in the chat I said, there is a new way to treat low back pain. Interested? ? And then I put in my email. I was immediately shut out of the Zoom. And the next day, the president of the Canadian Pain Society told me that I was never to attend any of their meetings on Zoom or in person. And then that is when I decided to write the book, because I had proven it. I did a randomized placebo-controlled study. So, I mean, like a real medical study that I'd published in a medical journal. And I proved that 90% of those who had displaced pelvic bones, which is 90% of all low back pain, 90% of those people ended up pain free. And so I decided I'm going to let the world know about it. And I've got all kinds of stories about that, but I don't know that I have enough time.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
The book belonged to my father. He had an extensive library, and yes, How to Make Friends and Influence People. And it's funny because the one thing that I really remember was one chapter title, and it was entitled Smile. And that's all I remember. I don't have an ability to remember a whole lot from back then. And I didn't say where I was from. I was probably living in a suburb of Chicago at that time, and then moved down here. I have lived in South Florida for a long time and have been living in a little tiny fishing village called Lantana. It was very cute little place. And I noticed that in the local paper, they were putting old photos of old Lantana. Then there was an article in the local paper where somebody wanted to get together and talk about old Lantana. I believe that was back in 2003, where we decided to make a historical society. So that's actually what my book is about. And I was able to do extensive research on this book. And I got a kick out of Maurice being very kind, saying he might want to read it. But unless you lived in Lantana, I'm sure he wouldn't be that interested in this book. But it's been quite an extensive, time-consuming thing for me to do. And as soon as I finish it, I'm going to be going to the oldest restaurant, waterfront restaurant around, to try to sell the book, and I will be using the book that you were holding up to remember to smile, do a lot of smiling, as people who come there are always interested in Old Lantana because it's an old building built in 1897, no, 1899, as a private home turned into a restaurant. So I will be doing a lot of smiling then. And I thank you for your time. I don't think I've done my 4 minutes, but I'm as a guest. You can forgive me, can't you?
I have a copy of it at home. Well, Paul, why don't you mail it to Tina or to Mary? They're here, and I'll take.
One.
Oh, three.
I was thinking of the number three, but I think Tina should have it because Mary has a copy too.
Oh, I
Have you got a copy?
no. My father had a copy,
Oh,
but if
and
she hasn't, but if she, yeah, everybody should have a copy. Let her have it.
Oh, thanks, you guys. Gals, thank you guys. Sure, I'll put it in. One sec.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Well, I'm holding my phone with one hand, so I can't clap.
Actually, I was public speaking since I started my medical career because I invented a whole lot of things. So I was giving talks to a bunch of doctors, but I've never given talks to other people. And this that what I'm going to be presenting in September is a webinar, and that'll be my first webinar. What I loved about this meeting was meeting you guys, which is interesting. And what I learned is that Tina has had a huge number of businesses that she participated in. I, like I spent my whole life doing one thing, and Tina went from one thing to another to another to another. And she must have learned a hell of a lot when she was doing all that.
Yeah, I what I loved about the meeting is it's very nice to meet all of you guys also, and I really want to thank you for the comment, Helen. Also, I did learn a lot, and I was, I had written out 7 minutes, 6, 7 minutes, and I kept going back to my original before I rewrote it into 6 and 7 minutes. So I left out half of it, but it's been a lifetime, and so anyway, I'm just as I was writing it, I realized it's just really the story's too long to share. So I really have to shorten things up a bit, and next time I'm going to redo this if I could, Paul, and put it in 7 minutes, because I got carried away. Wow, thanks.
I had a hell of a lot of doctors do that in my practice. And the reason I invented the cream was I was injecting around nerves with this natural sugar derivative. It's called mannitol. And even before the needle was out of the skin, the pain was gone. And this pharmacist said, I've never seen pain go away so fast and so completely. But people don't like needles. Why don't we make it into a cream? I said, sure, let's make it into a cream. And we did. And it's actually twice as good as any other pain cream in the world. So I'm pretty proud of what I did, and I did a randomized controlled study on that one too. So I've actually proven it. So I like inventing stuff.
Paul and Sarah, the real couple that cares about your Medicare, says that Tony from TRCVoiceovers.com is awesome if you want the best voice on the planet for any Audible project. Don't hesitate to reach out to him at Tony at TRCVoiceovers.com.